On this episode, hustle versus systems. Hey everybody, this is the quarter show. Welcome back. We're talking about hustle versus systems, and interesting topic. I think it definitely is relevant to sales. It's relevant if you're an entrepreneur, but I'm listening to this book that I hadn't listened to or hadn't read. I read this book about 17 years ago by Michael Gerber called E-Myth. And I think it's got me thinking a little further about systems and administration and, methodical ways of doing things. And I'm a big believer in that. I really am. And I was thinking about how nowadays you see kind of the cliche, and it's correct. People talk about hustle, right? Hustle shirts, hustle mugs, or you hustling, hustle. It's all good, pending that it's directed in the right way, that it's channeled in the right way. Because the truth is, if you're just hustling and I'm just working. You could work in the wrong direction, frankly. You could work in a dumb fashion. You can work in a way where you haven't done your homework, you don't understand, you haven't methodically planned. And the truth is that work can actually be very empty. You should hustle, don't get me wrong. You should absolutely hustle. You should work your face off. But a big part of hustle is systems. And some people might disagree with that. I believe wholeheartedly that you need to have systems, you need to have planning, and you need to have things that, that the hustle is dependent on. And in the book, he talks about one of the examples is he talks about having the highly skilled players, and you're super dependent just on the highly skilled players and whether they're motivated today or their performance, they feel like, or they wake up in the mood or they don't wake up in the mood. Compared to just having systems that work all the time, every time. And when you start looking at that and putting that into your company or your selling day, and you start looking at it, you go, well, what sort of systems could you put into your day that work all the time, every day? And then you combine, and then you bring in the hustle, of course. And I think hustle can be overrated, even though I'm a huge believer. I think it can be overrated if you don't bolster it with systems and things like that. So when we talk about systems, it's like, as a simple point, just the idea of on Sunday night or every night planning out your lineup, let's say, for the next day, and having exactly who you're going to go after, having all the data that you need. Yes, you have your CRM, but having something where, people might do this on the calendar, but I write it down, right? I have it where I don't have to get distracted. If I need to find a telephone number, I don't go, oh, John Smith, I got to call him. Where's his number? I got to go check. Next thing you know, I'm off on YouTube or following some email chain, and I don't even know how I got there because I'm initially just looking for the telephone number because I got distracted by something else, whereas I should have planned and had a system for how I sell, right? Where I can just do the same thing over and over and over again and get a result, as opposed to I'm just going to hustle, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm just going to call and do work. It can be really misguided. And so, yes, hustle for sure, but have systems that keep you focused, have systems that keep you in check, have systems that guarantee production. And look at that and say, I don't know, maybe your system is, before the day starts, mapping out your calendar to stack it entirely, so everything that you need to do is actually has a slot, is calendared out on or scheduled out on your calendar and blocked off. And so maybe that's a system that you have. Having a 1, 2, 3 methodical step on what you do and how you sell, maybe mapping out the sales process so I do this, then I do that, then I do this, then I do that, then I do this, to help guarantee the consistency on closing every given deal, as opposed to I'm just going to work to sell them.
Because this isn't just CRM. This is not just like have a nice CRM that works for you or something like that. This is like, this is really important stuff. This is sort of like leveling up as a salesperson. If you're working at being a salesperson and you want to level up, and you can keep leveling up in this area, and it's kind of like this, right? So, like Robert mentioned, one thing you can do is the night before. You write out your lineup for the next day. Maybe you write down all the telephone numbers, the contact names, the post title of the contact name. You have everything lined up, and then you're ready to hit the ground running. For me, another item is like at the beginning of the week, I have to have my marketing email written. and I have to send it out Monday or latest Tuesday morning, right? And I have one for prospects, and I have one for clients, and I send it out at these exact times. And you have it lined up just so, right? I have blocked off on my calendar right after our sales muster in the morning for the next hour is solid phone calls. That's what's there, right? And that way, and part of developing a system, and not a CRM, but a system, is noting successful actions and keeping them in. Getting them written down, what was successful, and that way you can add it to like what you do. I know, and a human being is not perfect, right? I know that if I fail to the night before or at the end of the day rewrite my lineup so that I'm ready for the next day, I'm going to have a challenge at some point in the week. I'm just going to run into it, right? Because I'm just not following the more successful actions from before. So it's like you really gotta write them down. We can go, what was successful this week? Well, I just kicked butt and I made a lot of phone calls. Okay, great. Made a lot of phone calls. How many? Go through your phone log. How many did you do? Good, 100. Good. What does that mean per day?
If you can build a framework for what is actually successful, and you can follow it week after week after week, month after month, year after year, then you can apply hustle to that framework. The framework that you built out, you have to hit these many emails, you have to hit these many phone calls, you have to do this, that you have after this specific vertical or these specific people. How you stack your calendar, how many discovery calls you should have, how many proposals you should get out. You have all these different things. You built a successful framework for both. What is a successful day look like? What does a successful week look like? And you actually have the framework written out. Hustle against that, and I see a lot of people throwing out the hustle thing, but I love hustle, but it can misguide you, right? Because now you're just, let's say you get so tactical, you get so like you're just doing that. It can be misguided. You haven't taken the time to plan. You haven't taken the time to build a framework. You haven't taken the time to build a system where you gain consistency. And then let's say you get distracted, you get burned out, you're not motivated, you don't do this, and now you're banking entirely on just hustle. At some point, it's going to fail you. And you can improve hustle with systems.
Yeah. And I watched a fellow who a really good kid and well-intentioned and this and that, and he was just on the hustle. He'd make more phone calls than me, do all these kind of things, but the numbers weren't happening. Week after week after week, not occurring, right? And I checked in on it, right? So if you experience this is where you need to, this is what you do, right? So if you can kind of feel that you are hustling, that you are like putting in a lot of high energy activity, and like you feel you're honestly doing that, and there's no product, check in with somebody senior in the area. Check in with somebody who you can say, this is what I'm doing, can you help me out? Right? Check in with somebody who you can go, here's what I'm saying in my phone call. Let's drill. Let's role play a phone call. Right? Because when I checked in on the fellow's phone calls, I look at his phone log and I'm like, dang, he's already made 75 calls. It's not even lunch yet, right? And I listened to him, and that was the problem. The problem wasn't his desire. The problem wasn't his desire, and it wasn't his activity level.
Yeah.
It was the actual application of what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
That was out, right? And so he just adjusts that, and then bing, he makes a couple sales.
Could be break down his model. Could be break down his system. Could be different things. Like maybe like literally part of his system, he hasn't even planned it out and looked at it. It's like, hey, outside of just hustling, maybe you need training. Maybe you need a better model. Maybe you're supposed to be sending a proposal after every discovery call, and yet you're waiting and you don't even know, and so you're making these calls and you think it's a numbers game, and so you're just hustling. You're like, it's a numbers game, I'm just going to get deals. It's like I've seen a lot of people fail with that.
Yeah.
It's a number game, I'm just going to keep going and get deals. It's like, and it's like you're spinning your wheels. You can do that with fitness. I mean, look, I love to run and work out and things like that. You can be I'm just gonna try and do stuff. It's like, it doesn't work like that. You need to know meal planning. You need to know when you're gonna run. You need to know when you're gonna fast. You need to know what kind of foods you're gonna eat and the macronutrients, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. Like, that's how you get in great shape, right? Compared to somebody who's like, I'm just gonna do stuff and I'm doing activity. You can see that person, no progress for the next 2 years. And they're working out, they're hustling.
When I was 17, I found an Arnold Schwarzenegger book that my dad had, right? And I was like, this is amazing. I did all the workouts, and I had my dad do it all in one day. I couldn't move the next day, dude. I didn't work out for like another 2 years after that. Totally. I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing. I don't ever want to feel this way again. It felt great that day, right? But the hustle with no understanding and no application and no technique, I was burned out immediately.
Yeah.
And in a lot of pain.
Absolutely. It's the same life, same in sales, same in business. It's a similar thing, So like, get your system in, understand the foundation. Understand the foundation, and then bring hustle in, and the combination of the two is how you make it happen. And don't just get roped into gotta hustle. Do hustle, like believe me, do hustle. It's great. Hustling is great. You got to do stuff. You got to make things happen, and you got to take it to a huge level. But be smart about your hustle. Build a system that's repeatable, that you can do over and over again. That doesn't rely on whether you're inspired, whether you're motivated, whether you're this, whether you're that. One that you can count on, and then when you apply hustle to it, or that helps build a system and model that helps you hustle, right? And you do that, and you get consistent.
Doesn't take long to put that together.
And then you don't have these peaks and valleys, right? You don't want to have these peaks and valleys like, oh, that was a good week, oh, that week sucked, oh, that was a good week, oh, that week sucked. It's like, or that quarter sucked. It's like, you build a system that makes it look like this, makes your chart look like that. All right. Hope that helps. Hope you like it. If you like it, the show, subscribe there. If you like the episode, hit the old thumbs up right there and share it on social, okay? Thanks.